person, a CEO or top man of a leading industry in the city. I was actually meeting a chief executive and listening to him express his puzzlement when he was telling with great distress that his employees did not understand the company's mission and overall directions. He said, I don't get it. Why is this is happening? I have spelled out everything for them in every meetings, and even I have summarized it in the form of a memo. See, here is the memo. He showed it to me, and he says so explicitly clear. What more do the employees want? Still, the mission of the company is not understood, and he is not satisfied that everybody is working in a unison. He thinks that everybody is confused. For a moment, I thought he was kidding, that he had a very refined sense of irony, making people understand that the company's mission and vision doesn't happen by far, just by a fiat or by any memo, I would say. I also don't happen, I agree, it also doesn't happen overnight. Surely this is a smart executive, the CEO, a friend of mine. He knew it very well. But the pained expression on his face, I could tell he was dead serious, and only in that one area of management, I think he was absolutely clueless. So I thought, okay, let me revive the situation, review the situation. And I asked him, I said, how was the memo distributed? Tell me. Promptly he answered, obviously, by email. I mailed to everybody. I went to everyone and it went to everyone in the company. Okay, I said, but my hunch is that the method of distribution is all you know about this and nothing more. How many people actually opened the email and read your memo? My friend said, I don't know. Of course, how many do you think understood the memo even if they have opened and read it? And his answer was, I have no idea. Of course, who understood it even? How many have truly believed it? And he shook his head again in no. Of this dwindling group of believers, how many remembered? And again, another sorry head shake. That's a lot of uncertain unknowns for someone you regard as vital to your company's existence, I said. But what's not the worst, put, once you eliminate all the people who either didn't receive or read or understood or believed or remembered the memo, and it's quite possible there is no one left, how many people do you think will adopt the memo's content? How many will begin living and breathing the company's mission because of your memo? I think I heard my executive friend muttered slowly, and he said, I don't know. But it was hard to tell because by now his voice was nearly inaudible. It's not my mission in life to deflate or depress people, or I try to revive his spirits by changing the subjects, by pointing out that the problem was him, not his memos. I said the only thing you are guilty of was checking the inbox. Then he said, yes. You thought your job was done when you articulated the mission of your mission and you wrote that memo as if it were one more item on your to-do list for day. You checked the box and you moved on. Next. I could see the scales slowly lifting from his eyes, so I pressed on with my theory about what may be the most egregious source of corporate dysfunction, the failure of managers to see the enormous disconnect between the understanding and doing. Most leadership development revolves around one huge false assumption that if people understand, then they will do it. That's not true at all, my friend. Most of us understand. We just don't do. As I spoken earlier, we all understand that being grossly overweight is bad for health. But not all of us are actually do anything to change our conditions. We will talk about it. And this executive friend of mine is no different from most executives who believe their organizations operate with strict down the chain command efficiency. Which only happens in armed forces. There is a laid down the channel of command, the chain of command. There is no such thing in civil. The boss says jump, the subordinate asks here how high. In a perfect world, my friend, every command is not only obeyed, but obeyed precisely and promptly, almost as if it were a fair fait accompli. The boss doesn't have to follow up ever, because he said it and it was done. After all, he checked the box. I'm not sure, my friend, why bosses persist in thinking this way. Maybe their ego can't fathom that their orders might not be strictly followed. Maybe they are too lazy to investigate whether people did their bidding. Maybe they are too disorganized to adhere to strict follow-up procedures. Maybe they think that following up is beneath them. Whatever the reason, my friend, they blindly assume that if people understand, they will do it. A wrong presumption. The good news here for every manager, I would say, including my executive, the CEO friend, whom I was talking yesterday, is that this false belief that a simple cure. It's called follow-up. I've spoken about it. Once you send out a message, you ask people the next day if they heard it. Then you ask if they have understood it. Then a few days later, you ask if they did something about it. Believe me, my friends, if the first follow-up question doesn't get the attention, the next one will, and so will the final one. Stop checking the inbox, my friend. Thank you very much.